Okay, this is video 4 out in the bright sunshine on Abanikos. Remember we talked about on the previous video, Abaniko means to fan, and it's a technique found in a lot of different Kali or Eskrima systems. Sometimes just a few techniques, sometimes it's like a subsystem. And then I'm told that way back in the day, there were some family systems of Eskrima that were based entirely on an Abaniko, because it's a very good technique. In fact, it's such a central part of this method that I considered calling this entire stick boxing method we've been talking about Abaniko stick boxing. Okay? Because the boxing pivot is key to a good Abaniko, which makes it this a good point to talk about that boxing pivot. And by the boxing pivot, I mean when you're standing basically shoulder width, your feet at shoulder width, and you pivot all your weight onto one foot, you turn your hips, you turn back. This kind of dynamic, right? So from a boxing perspective, that's the dynamic of jab, here's the pivot, cross, hook, boom, boom. You see it's this pivot, back and forth, turning the hips. It's like you're planting one leg, twisting the hips, turning on the ball of the other foot. I plant this one, twist my hips, plant on the ball of this foot. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, that's the pivot we're talking about. So if you're trying to do an Abaniko motion with just the wrist and you're trying to hit hard, you're going to hurt your wrist. You're going to be torquing too much and hurt your wrist. What makes an Abaniko powerful, what makes the fanning motion powerful, is the pivot. Just like I had done a hook, that whack. And then when I pivot back, here's the other side of the strike. Bam, bam. So it's my body pivot that makes that powerful, not the arm. If I try to hit anything powerful with that, I'm going to hurt my wrist, because I know I've done it. So it's the pivot, pivot, pivot. So this is the Abaniko on the horizontal line, right? So I would be hitting Bob here, bam. From this angle. So you see the power is here and here. It's not the arm, it's the pivot. So that's the horizontal Abaniko. Whop, whop, whop. We can do the Abaniko on the vertical line, down and up. I can down, basically up, down. But see, it's still a pivot. Here, down and sink, pivot and rise, pivot and sink, pivot and rise, pivot and sink, pivot and rise, pivot and sink. So it's bam, bam, bam. Pivot and rise, pivot and sink. And the Abaniko, if I was holding a blade, the Abaniko is like I'm hitting with the flat of the blade instead of the edge, because it's a fan. Here, the flat, the flat, the flat, the flat. Boom, 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 boom. And see, I can go from horizontal, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical. So you can, the Abaniko is quick, it's powerful if you know how to pivot, and it changes angles so quick it's hard to follow and hard to block. It's what makes it such a good technique for a stick, right? It doesn't work with a blade, it's a stick technique. Now, I've also got a diagonal line. I could go diagonal down, diagonal up on this line. I could be coming the other way, right? I could be going diagonal up, diagonal down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Boom. Horizontal, vertical, diagonal, diagonal the other way. Okay? Again, either hand, you got to be good. So they can change angles quickly. I could be coming at this guy and hit him here, and then have been high. Or I could have been high, and then dropped here, and then back, right? Boom, 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 back. Okay? And it just fits so smoothly with those stick boxing punches that we've done, because if you think about it, the way I showed you to do a hook with the flat was jab, cross, hook. That's an Abaniko. We just didn't flip it over. But we're making our hooking motion like that is an Abaniko. It's just that Abaniko. That's our hook. That's our hook. That's our uppercut. It's an Abaniko. Okay? Even though I'm hitting straight, technically with the edge, when I'm doing my jab, I could have turned it just a little bit and it becomes an Abaniko. Right? I could have done my jab this way. Alright? Do it this hand. So see, instead of hitting like this, I'm making an Abaniko. And then it flows to multiple targets, right? If I jab this way, I can drop it. And so the difference between a straight punch and the Abaniko is slight because I'm pivoting. A boxing pivot changes everything. Boom, boom, boom. And that's why almost anything can become an Abaniko, and it just flows so well because I'm moving with that boxing pivot. And I'm not thinking of stroking through with big motions. And that's why the Abaniko just hits multiple targets so fast the person, there's no way if I'm coming in with a barrage of things, combination of blocks and strikes, there's no way he's going to block everything, right? Because it just moves too fast. And it changes angles too quickly, okay? That's the value of that Abaniko. But again, you got to be able to pivot to generate power. If you're hitting with your arm and hand, you're going to hurt yourself. You got to pivot. You got to pivot. Now, where the Abaniko really shines is when you start using it defensively, which we'll do when we talk about defenses. And then it's like you're just hitting what comes and just progressively working up to striking this guy to take him out. Okay? So that's Abaniko. Very important.